Well, what did you think of the debate last night? It basically highlights. This is the first time I really haven't watched the entire debate, but enough highlights to kind of know where each candidate won points. And we're talking about the presidential debate, President Obama and Mitt Romney. So just take a few minutes on discovering the media reaction to this. Article in the Atlantic stating that why we shouldn't be surprised Obama is falling behind. Until Mitt Romney's strong showing in the first debate, his stumbles served to obscure a series of missteps by the president. Article goes on to say before the first presidential debate, President Obama was riding high in the polls. Now he finds himself tied or even behind Mitt Romney, both nationally and in key states. But what happened may not be as simple as a good debate for Romney and a bad one for Obama. The president was showing signs of weakness before the two candidates met up in Denver. Everyone was just too distracted by a run of terrible news for Romney to take notice. Obama had been had two prominent public outings, that is, prior to October 3rd, the debate in Denver, and both should have been alarming to his supporters. A 60 Minutes interview and forum hosted by the Spanish language network Univision. In both extended interviews, the president was off his game in the same ways the debate would soon showcase. Unsteady, equivocating, lacking in forcefulness or punch, made a number of minor gaffes. But Mitt Romney was in the midst of a rather spectacular ongoing implosion at the time, so Obama's blunders largely went unnoticed. At the Univision forum, host George Ramos pressed Obama hard on his failure to enact immigration reform, and Obama had no good answer. "You did not keep your promise," Ramos charged. Obama responded with a rambling answer about how busy he had been with the economic crisis and how little cooperation he got from Republicans. Ramos did not let him off the hook. He says, "A promise is a promise," he said. Obama's answer was an airless civics lesson. So, an article fairly critical of Obama. Republicans tried to highlight these Obama flubs, but there was so much more entertaining spectacle distracting voters and the press. The Romney meltdown was a press event, apparently, from Clint Eastwood's convention speech to Romney's widely panned response to the embassy attacks to the bombshell release of the 47% tape. Every passing day seemed to bring more signs that Romney was doomed, having gotten no discernible bounce from his running mate selection or his convention. Romney was slipping in the polls to the point where Republican operatives started to muse privately about leaving him for dead and focusing their money on bolstering party's hopes in the House and Senate. Pundits began making the comparison to Bob Dole in 1996. This was the situation going into the debate, and Obama, who was dearly not in fighting shape and whose surge in the horse race had much more to do with the rival's weakness than his own strength. Had Romney not been messing up constantly, Obama's missteps might well have been the dominant media narrative, and we would not all have been a lot less surprised when a decidedly unfeisty Obama took the debate stage. So, really, what this writer is saying, that there are two weak candidates, kind of like two bad football teams going back and forth, and it's just like a messy battle. That's kind of a bad analogy, but there's some stuff from The Nation as well. Katrina Vanden Heuvel from The Nation. How Romney's extreme policies insult us all. At first glance, it might seem as if Mitt Romney's path from voting in the 1992 Democratic presidential primary to being the 2012 Republican presidential nominee was linear, but over the past winding 20 years, Romney has held every possible view on every possible issue, often at the same time. When it comes to policy, he's been downright promiscuous on policy. Kind of interesting. He's sort of whoring himself out on the issues. He was for a women's right to choose before he was against it. He was for tax cuts for the rich before he was against them. He was actually against tax cuts for a while. That's not something that's been highlighted very well. He wrote health reform before he was against it, before he was for the parts that everybody liked. So this is not a platform, it's more like a punchline based on the numbers. Now, 18 months into the presidential campaign, countless event events, interviews, a convention, a debate later, one thing is clear: Mitt Romney is not an etch-a-sketching, or he isn't even etch-a-sketching or flip-flopping. He's being dishonest. At Tuesday's town hall debate, it was time for the American people and the president to go the way of Joe Biden and call out the malarkey. So there you have it. A lot of malarkey going on, and just like Ronald Reagan, Romney is a great actor, but how much substance is there, really? I mean, he's a talking machine. Do you believe what he's saying? How can you believe what somebody is saying if they keep switching their views all the time? You can't follow them. It's impossible to follow them. So that's the scary thing, is that you don't know who the real Romney is. Who is the real Mitt Romney, anyway?